Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be talking about I don't know why I accidentally pulled up YPMS Twitter, but Joe Biden's pathway to victory in the 2020 presidential election. So, today we're going to be, talking about, well, we've already said, how can Donald Trump win the election? And I made a past video, and I'll put that in the description of this video. And if I forget it, which I'm the CEO of forgetting to put stuff in the description, I'll just pin the comment. But one of you has to remind me. So, yeah, but essentially, I said, Donald Trump has to win basically every single swing state, except for one state in the Rust Belt. So, you know, he has an uphill climb, to say the least. Joe Biden is the favorite right now, and I think it's fair of me to say that I've been fairly consistent when I say that Joe Biden's the favorite. But do not underestimate Donald Trump. He won in 2016. I'm never going to count him out, even if he's losing in the polls by 25 points nationally. Never going to count him out because he still has a strong block of supporters that will not budge. So, that is important. So to remember. So now I'm going to just say this is a scenario where Joe Biden is going to win. So we're going to start by filling out our safe states, by based on just, what our safe states are, I guess. Not really a poetic thing to say about that. So you get 183 for Joe Biden, and then for Trump, we're also going to do our safe states for him, all of Nebraska but the 2nd district. So it kind of stacks up to essentially 92 electoral votes are safe for President Trump, and 183 are safe for Joe Biden. So now we're going to get into our likely states. Now, I do think that both New Mexico and Colorado will be likely. I also think that Michigan and Minnesota will be likely generally. However, let's say that this is just a scenario where Biden wins by I guess you could say Biden wins, but not in a landslide. So we're just going to say that both these states are lean, which means we're not going to characterize them just yet. But I am going to say that Virginia would still be likely. So yeah, that's 210 for Joe Biden. And then for Trump, he still have a handful of likely states, the normal ones that get him up to 163. So now we're essentially just narrowed it down to our swing states. States that are contested, by the way, Maine at-large vote will be likely for Joe Biden. So 212 to 163. Now we're going to talk about what is Joe Biden's pathway to victory. Well, first of all, let's just say Joe Biden win. In all these states, the most likely to go to Joe Biden would be New Hampshire, followed by the state of Nevada, and then you get into Minnesota or Michigan. I don't know why I'm saying Minnesota. Then you get into Michigan, Arizona, and Minnesota. So now you're at 259. So let's talk about these states for a second. Well, the latest polls from these states. Let's go to New Hampshire because I'm pretty sure RCP considers that to be a battleground state. The average, which was exactly spot on in 2016, as Biden had by a likely margin. I'm going to be generous to President Trump because I do think that voter registration will lag for Democrats because colleges are hotspots for Democrats, and the colleges in New Hampshire are mostly, I believe that they're actually distance, or they were distance at least. Virtual, at least towards the end of last school year 2020, March through June. So that halted maybe voter registration efforts from the Democrats, but still, it's safe to say that that Joe Biden should be winning in New Hampshire, and he is the favorite right now. So you essentially have that going to Joe Biden. Next would be the state of Nevada, which I do think will be lean. I get a lot of comments saying that Nevada is a likely Democratic state, and I'm more conservative in that regard. Because I do think Joe Biden has a Latino voter problem that cannot easily be fixed, or at least he isn't doing a great job at fixing it. Again, I do think he will win Nevada. I do think he will win Arizona. I do think he will win New Mexico. I do think he will win Colorado. But when we look at the polls, I do believe that if Hillary Clinton or, say, Barack Obama were running, they'd have a bigger margin in Nevada than Joe Biden does right now. Now, that being said, the polls in Nevada do tend to actually underestimate Democratic support significantly, so I don't really have a problem saying it's lean or likely Democratic, but I'm going to be conservative and put it as lean. But I do think that characterizing it for Trump as of right now is very, I don't want to, There are people who think Nevada will go to Donald Trump. I just think that it's very unlikely right now, and if you're saying that, I don't think that you're accurate in your prediction. So, Minnesota and Michigan would be next on my list. Now, these states I do think will be likely, but when you have them as lean, we have to put them as lean to be more generous to Trump in this case, which we are again. This is a scenario where Biden wins what's the easiest way for Biden to win essentially, and I do think he will win both these states by a likely margin, but as of right now, the polls have Biden ahead by 9.4. This should not really be an issue for him, seeing as Minnesota has been solidly Democratic since 1972. Even Walter Mondale, when he ran against Ronald Reagan, he still carried the state of Minnesota. It was by a lean margin, so we're just going to keep Minnesota in the lean column. And Minnesota, I don't think it's a toss-up. I mean, Democrats did very, very well in the House elections there. The statewide vote in Minnesota, which I'm going to pull up, the House elections in Minnesota, was 55% for the Democrats and only 44% for the Republicans. So Democrats, even 2 years ago, they did very well in Minnesota. In the state of Michigan, I do think that Michigan will actually vote to the left of Minnesota, which could be a surprise to some of you, but as of right now, the demographics do certainly favor the Democrats in Michigan. Let me find it. And Biden has been polling, essentially similar in Michigan with Minnesota. I know his lead is smaller, but, Minnesota and Michigan do tend to reflect each other in the polls, and that Michigan does usually poll to the right of Minnesota. Yet on election day, they essentially vote together. And to other people saying, no, you're wrong, UAP. Minnesota went blue in 2016. Michigan went red. Well, they're only 1.7% apart. Hillary Clinton won Minnesota by 1.5%. And Donald Trump won Michigan by 0.2%. So that they're still very close together. They will vote within 2 or 3 points of each other for sure. That is a given. So I think that if one goes blue, the other is likely to go blue. So, yeah, but I do think that in this scenario, let's see, Michigan goes to Biden by 5, and Minnesota goes to him by 4. So, again, this is the easiest way for him to win, not the most likely way for him to win, or the state of the election as of right now. This is not a prediction, by the way. So, now we're going to get into, Arizona, which I do think would come next out of our states that are likely states that will be lean. So, Arizona, the polls have been pretty good for Joe Biden. He has been falling as of late, but again, this is this one poll from ABC News sampling only a couple hundred likely voters. You don't know who a likely voter is. That's an outlier. Like when you talk to polling experts, they say they get very, very mad when people retweet this one poll that put Trump ahead by one when every other poll is putting Biden ahead consistently. It's been that way for a while. Donald Trump has consistently been trailing Joe Biden in Arizona. Could it be narrowing up? Yes, it certainly could. But as of right now, he is the favorite to win in this state. So you see, that Arizona is lean Democratic. Cindy McCain endorsed Joe Biden. Meghan McCain has long been supporting him over Donald Trump. Mark Kelly being on the ballot certainly going to help Joe Biden in Arizona. He's polling ahead. Democrats are just up doing exactly everything they need to win Arizona, and they won the 2018 Senate race there, and in the House elections there in 2018, which is the best indicator of a statewide vote. We need to go to the very top of this article. I don't know why it doesn't want to load. Arizona, if it wants to show me. Arizona. So the statewide vote there was Democrats won. It was close, but it will be close this time around, but I do think the Democrats will win by a little bit more than they won the House elections in 2018 by. So, yeah, and now we're going to go, what are our lean Trump states in this scenario? Well, I do think that Iowa and Ohio would be lean for Trump in this scenario, and, let's just assume Georgia is a lean state, and yeah, so essentially Georgia and Ohio and Iowa are states that I really could be tilt or likely either way. I don't think that Georgia will be likely, but if we pull up a tab on the state of Ohio, Donald Trump has actually been polling pretty poorly there. He's the favorite to win, but the recent information says Biden is ahead. Iowa has been the polling in Iowa has been a lot worse for Joe Biden, but he still is in a virtual tie with Donald Trump. They haven't been polling Iowa, or at least RCP doesn't like to weight Iowa a ton. But let's just give Trump the benefit of the doubt. He won this state. He won these states in 2018 or in 2016, and in 2018 the Democrats actually did pretty well in Iowa. They won the statewide House popular vote. In Ohio, they won a Senate race there by nearly 8 points. But again, we're giving the benefit of the doubt here to Trump, and most election experts do agree that these states should be leaning or tilting to Donald Trump. Georgia, uh, I will come under fire for saying this, but there probably will be voter suppression. There was voter suppression in 2018, and there will be again with the same guy, Brian Kemp, suppressing the vote. Now as governor, actually, so he has even more power than he did before. So yeah, also the polls in Georgia have been pretty accurate in the past, and they are putting Trump ahead, I believe. You know, putting Donald Trump ahead. So that's kind of exactly what you want to see if you're Donald Trump. Oh wow, California is not going red. But Georgia, I don't think should be a big. I think the Democrats, Joe Biden has a better chance at winning in Iowa and Ohio than Georgia. Just so you know. All right, so now we're gonna go. What are our final tipping point lean states? I do think that Wisconsin and Pennsylvania will be lean in this scenario. So we get to 289 for Joe Biden, and we're just gonna give the rest of the states to Trump by tilt margins. So this is Joe Biden's easiest way to win. Now I do think he could easily win Wisconsin, or lose Wisconsin and still win the election, assuming he carries Arizona, in Minnesota, and Michigan, and Pennsylvania, which he is expected to do. But let's just go with my gut feeling that he will carry Wisconsin, that he will carry Pennsylvania. So Wisconsin, the latest polls from the state of Wisconsin have been very promising for Joe Biden. In fact, he is expanding his lead. He's now leading by 7 points. And Hillary Clinton on election day, she only led by 6, which I know is still a big amount in term one. But yeah, Joe Biden is polling better than Hillary Clinton never did, even at her peak in the state of Wisconsin. So I am fairly confident that he will win Wisconsin. And if you weight the polls, of course, Wisconsin would be. The polls in Wisconsin were astronomically wrong in 2016. So I don't like to take that too much into account. Rather, you should look at the midterm data, where the Democrats absolutely hit the ball out of the park in this state. They won the Senate race there very comfortably. They won it by 11 points, and this is really not going to be an issue for them, assuming that they continue what they have been doing since 2018. And that's expected. I mean, they saw what they did in 2018 worked, and they should do that again. So Wisconsin, the statewide vote in the House election was 45% for the Republicans, 53% for the Democrats. And then you'll see a similar thing in the state of Pennsylvania. And by the way, the Democrats did win the Senate race there by 11 points, which I think I mentioned. They also threw out the Republican governor, Scott Walker. So the Democrats had a lot of success there. And in Pennsylvania, of course, the Democrats, they won the Senate race and a governor's race by nearly 20 points each. So the House vote was a little bit closer, but it was still a wave for the Democrats. The Republicans got 45%, the Democrats got 55%. End of story. Both these states should go blue unless something changes from now in between now and the election, which I don't think is likely to happen. And we're going to give the rest of the swing states. I'm not going to talk about these too much. Florida, North Carolina, Maine 2nd District, and Nebraska 2nd District to Trump. I do think that all these states, or these districts and states, could be rated as toss-ups as of this. At this point in time, but assuming that Joe Biden does underperform my expectations by a little bit, just saying he just wins by doing exactly what he needs and nothing more, he should lose these states narrowly. I do think North Carolina and Nebraska's 2nd District could actually go tilt blue in this scenario, but we're just going to give them to Donald Trump for the sake of this being simplistic. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you have not already. Check out my other videos that should be coming up in the end card about now, and I'll see you all tomorrow.